Welcome, welcome everybody to the Bridge Builders of Diversity. I'm Sherry, this is Roberta.
Hiya.
Today we're going to be talking about Buck versus Bell, but before we get into Buck versus Bell, I'm going to give you a little backstory on me and my son.
Just a quick warning, this topic is uncomfortable. Take your Tums.
Yes, and you probably don't want your children to see this video. Unless they're older, then it would be very educational for them.
Absolutely share it with your teenagers,
Yes.
but not younger children. They'll have too many questions.
Yes. I'm a mother of a child with Down syndrome, and when I was 5 months pregnant with him, I had gone for prenatal testing because I was an older mom, and I was somewhat coerced into going down the route of termination for him. There was nobody told me about Down syndrome societies or the great things that people with Down syndrome are doing today, how a lot of them go to college, get married, live fruitful lives, work jobs, are very productive members of society. That was never told to me. And one nurse, I was there with my husband, and the doctor said to us, "We'll give you a few minutes to decide." And I said, "Decide what?" And one of the nurses said, "Most parents change their mind." Now, we weren't there. We weren't seeking an abortion or anything like that. We were there because it was recommended by my OBGYN, because I was an older mom, to have this testing done. So that's what prompted me 14 years ago, after my son was born, to start researching all this stuff. And I've come across a lot of stuff, and it seems like eugenics has moved, as I say, to the womb. And that's what the court case Buck versus Bell is about.
It never went away.
Yeah.
It never went away. So here we I just want to give a personal face to this case. The not plaintiff, but the complainant in this story was a young woman named Carrie Buck, who at the age of, she's 17, the age of 17, I'm going to say 17, yes, at the age of 17 found herself pregnant. Let's go back in time. Carrie Buck's mother was a single mother. Carrie was not illegitimate. Her parents were married, but her father left the family because money was scarce. This was in the 1920s. It was the case was presented before the court in 1924. So we're talking the early part of the 20th century. Father left the home. Carrie's mom didn't know. Carrie's mom, her name was Emma, didn't know what to do with her. So she put her into foster care, and then Mrs. Emma Buck was committed to the Lynchburg Institution for Epileptic and Feeble-Minded.
Those were the terms that they used
she
back
was
then.
considered promiscuous and deemed feeble-minded. So Carrie goes into foster care at the age of 4. She lives with a family and is basically their maid. She does well in school. Her teachers love her. They say that her academic performance and her behavior is very good. But she only continues her education until 6th grade, at which time she continues to live with her foster family and work for them. And then at the age of 17, was raped by her foster family's nephew who was visiting, and found herself pregnant. Her foster family brought her right back to the Lynchburg colony for epileptics and feeble-minded. And Carrie was determined to be feeble-minded herself. And she was given a standardized test, and I didn't highlight the name of it. Oh, here we go. The Stanford Revision Binet-Simon test, which actually there is a Stanford Binet intelligence test that we still use. But she was determined to be feeble-minded. Remember, she only had a 6th grade education.
Right. And in Adam Cohen's book, Imbeciles, which he wrote all about this, there was no evidence of her being feeble-minded.
Not at all. Not really. Anybody can fail an intelligence test if they're anxious, if they don't understand what's being asked of them. it's very simple to fail an intelligence test and be deemed at that. Well, we don't use the word feeble-minded anymore, but cognitively impaired. So to carry on, right after the birth of her daughter, Carrie was sterilized without her consent or knowledge. This continued. This continued.
And this
So,
court ruling
the
was
court case.
went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court accepted that case and granted permission for that state to do that. And Buck versus Bell, still to this day, has never been overturned.
So, there is a precedent for female sterilization, particularly female sterilization. I know it also has happened and probably still is happening to men, but to a lesser degree. So we say, God, that was in the 20s.
Right.
Eugenics was a gigantic movement. It was a desire to improve the quality of society.
Right, and what they first did was they would, Carrie Buck's mom, they would put them in an institution until they were past the age of childbearing and then release them. But then they
Right.
figured out that cost too much money. So
All
then,
about the Benjamins.
right, so then they started sterilization. And that was all done for people who they didn't think should be having children, who they didn't think were fit for society.
There was I think a quote, and I think it was attributed to Oliver Wendell Holmes. That let me find it.
So, and also,
You go ahead.
oh, okay. So, and another video, a documentary, if anybody's interested, is The Belly of the Beast, of this happening to women in California who were in prison, who were sterilized against their will. In very recent history, this was done, and the documentary, I believe, just came out this past year.
Here's the quote. I
Okay.
found it. This decision was upheld, ending with 3 generations of imbeciles are enough.
Yeah,
This
that was the
this
guy from
court-
the Supreme Court,
Right. This was
Yes. One of the justices.
super famous. Oliver Wendell. No,
I forget his name.
I'm so sorry. Anyways, we want to forget his name.
Yes.
Because
There was only one justice, as it was an 8-1 vote. 8-1.
so
only
one person had a conscience and said,
Mhm.
"Yeah, this is a terrible idea. This isn't what the United States is all about." This ruling, the Supreme Court ruling, and the United States Supreme Court was used by the Nazis
Yes,
during the Holocaust to justify
that's where they got the
their
idea from.
genocide of Jewish and undesirable people. Because remember, it wasn't just Jews. Yes, it was predominantly Jews that were rounded up
It was
and
the
exterminated.
disabled.
But it was also the disabled, the gay, gypsies,
Yeah,
anyone that was considered undesirable. So basically, if you were poor and uneducated, you were fodder for these people. This idea of eugenics, of creating a better society, has never gone away. Look
it's
at the
just
amount of
changed. It has just changed, and I think they kind of use women's rights of their body to stealthily get it in there. So when you are having a child, you need to know what you want before you walk into that office.
Absolutely, and be firm in your convictions, because they'll give you a hard sell. Sherry isn't the only woman that I've talked to who found out that their unborn child had Down syndrome and was heavily coached to terminate the pregnancy. So as distasteful as this all is, and believe me, it makes my stomach roll. The idea that at least Sherry had a choice. They didn't mandate it. Right now, in present day California, I'll name the state, there are women who are incarcerated and brought in for medical procedures and sterilized without their knowledge.
Yeah.
They're told that they need abdominal surgery. One woman, it was her appendix. Another was told she had an ovarian cyst.
And this is very, very recent
This is
history.
between the year 2006 and 2010.
Yeah.
And according to prison records, between 1997 and 2003, there were 1,400 women sterilized in the California penal system. This is just California. I don't know what other states' laws are. I didn't take the time to research what my state laws are. We're in the liberal Northeast, so this probably isn't happening, but I'm not entirely certain. It's mind-blowing to think about it, but
Well, just the Supreme Court case of Buck versus Bell, it's reported that there were 70,000 forced sterilizations during that time.
and this was the years 1927
seven.
onward, right?
Yeah.
Because Buck versus Bell was decided in 1927. I think it was brought to the court in 24, and then if my notes were a little bit neater, I'd be able to see this. Sorry.
The important thing to know is that Kerry Buck was set up by Dr. Biddy, who was a eugenicist, and one of the guys who was on the board of the eugenics movement was her attorney. That's how badly she was set up.
Right. So this was a slam dunk. Not only was she a victim of rape, but then she was a victim of eugenics.
Yeah. They were looking for somebody to bring this court case, which it went all through their court and all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United
Right,
States.
the state of Virginia, and then
Yeah.
to the Supreme Court of the United States.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, also as part of the history, Carrie's sister was also sterilized without
Yes.
her knowledge.
Yes,
And this
that's
this
right.
woman was completely average intelligence. She was
And her-
known as a wonderful person, and was married for many years before she found out that she had been sterilized as a
her
young.
and her husband had
as a
tried
young
for years.
child.
Yep.
They tried for years to have children. They were, well-respected members of the community. So there was really no okay, not like there's ever a reason, but I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of saying, wow, if that family has one more kid, it's not my place. Nor is it the government's place to tell anyone what to do with their reproductive rights. And unfortunately, the woman's right to choose is the banner which a lot of these eugenicists fly under. Say,
Right.
oh yes, we want to maintain reproductive rights because we want to design our future progeny. We want, and another thing that I haven't really delved into, maybe this could be a new topic, is the CRISPR technology, where you can manipulate genetics to create a designer human.
Yeah.
What does that involve?
Right.
And what is it going to be? Rich people all have perfect children, and the rest of us have these wonderfully imperfect children.
One thing I can say about
We get the spicy ones.
my child that society would call imperfect and maybe may not be able to earn his keep, so to speak, but he has taught me more about life than any educator,
Absolutely.
even the most smartest person on the planet. He has taught me more about life.
And unconditional love.
Unconditional love, gratitude, appreciate my abilities. And I also see that in his brother, and siblings of children with disabilities are some of the most incredible, most humble human beings you'll ever meet.
Passionate.
And I think that could be another video.
They learn. That would be another video.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So we got two.
There we go.
But everybody has intrinsic worth. We may not be all equal in our abilities, but we all have intrinsic worth and value because we learn from each other. And people with disabilities teach us stuff that modern technology, all the technological solutions. No book. They teach you humanity. And that's something that's greatly missing from our society today is
And
humanity.
while they may need our support,
Mm-hmm.
what they give us back in return, as far as compassion and gratitude, the life lessons of beauty and acceptance are invaluable.
Right.
A life without people who are different or differently abled would be dull and horrible,
Right.
as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
In my personal opinion. So if you're looking for perfection, good luck, because eugenics is on your side.
Right.
If you're looking for a wonderful ride, come hang out with some people who are different.
And also during Deaf Awareness Month in September, we're going to talk about the eugenics movement against the deaf people.
Right, another group of people who would fail a standardized intelligence test if it's presented orally.
Right. Yeah. So that's a whole nother topic, but we're going to save that one for Deaf Awareness Month, so you can learn more about this. And you know, it's really unfortunate, but you know, with having my son ever since he was born, I really wanted to bring this awareness to society. And you know, eugenics has just moved in a different direction, and one that I don't think many people are aware of. And under the guise of women's rights, you know, how women get attacked on different angles.
We can't win, can we?
But that's why being educated and learning
and
about
talking to each other like we're talking to you, and I hope this helped you rather than disgusted you. I hope this made you ask more questions, and I strongly urge you that I'm not getting paid for this endorsement, but to check out the film The Belly of the Beast.
Yeah. And also Adam Cohen's book in Imbeciles, which I'll
Belly
put
of the
references.
Beast will be on NPR in...
NPR is Adam Cohen's book, and I'll put references down and links to.
Right, but didn't I read correctly that The Belly of the Beast was going to be coming to public television in November?
I know it's.
Or was
coming
it
out,
last November?
I think it came out last November. I think it's already out.
All right, so I recommend checking it out because this is modern day eugenics, and it's just like the earlier form of eugenics. It's attacking the poor, the underrepresented. I mean, if you look at the statistics, most women are in prison for poverty-related issues.
Right.
So really, it's women of color, it's poor women, and it's underrepresented women who are having their reproductive rights stripped from them.
And you know, just
most of the time without their knowledge.
And just because somebody makes a mistake in life and they end up in prison for whatever reason does not mean that they can't turn their life around and they can't become a productive member of society. And you know, you can't hold that over somebody's head for all their life. I'm not talking about somebody who murders somebody or something, but you know, a lot of this stuff, a lot of people go to prisons for petty crimes, you know.
Yeah, it's drug possession.
Yeah.
Check kiting. Again, poverty-related criminal acts.
Right.
You know, I needed money for groceries, so I floated this check. I could go on and on and on about how the system is designed to keep poor people incarcerated and now sterilize them. So keep your eyes and ears open. See something, say something, ask questions. I know that we only skirted over the beginning of this topic, but feel free to check out
I will put
Mr. Cohen's book,
references down in the
Adam Cohen.
so you can research this stuff and you can read about it yourself. All right, and we appreciate you guys.
We really do, and again, don't be too sick.
Yes, but it all has a purpose.
It really does.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.